Miracle Boy Boxing. I am your host, Hosting Cruz, and we're going to talk about, guys, the fights that happened this Saturday night in Carson, California, at the Punch Bowl, the War Zone, uh, Home Depot Center, Dignity Sports Park Center, and let's talk about it, guys. Three fights that happened on the main card. We're gonna start with Luis Nunez versus Ovolio from Mexico. Ovilio. Not too much known about Ovilio from Mexico, but he gave a good he came out of nowhere. He gave a good account of himself. He put up a good fight. Luis Nunez, uh, always put out a good showing. One of Dominican Republic's best boxers right now. Um, it was a good fight, guys. A lot of good exchanges. A lot of good give and take. Um, the only issue with this fight was the scorecards. Now, there was a issue. There was a part in the fight where Luis Nunez scored an uppercut, and right after that uppercut, Obilio went down, but the referee didn't score it. Didn't score the knockdown. I don't know why, and it was right in front of his face. But they should have scored that a knockdown. But all in all, man, it was a good fight. Close rounds. I'm not. Many said the decision was bogus. It was trash. Should have gone to Ovilio, but I disagree. I think that the decision was right. The only issue that I have was the scorecards. The scorecards were a bit too wide. The fight looked closer than what the scorecards were, and that was the only issue I have. I saw a split decision type of fight. It was really close rounds, and but Luis Nunez picking up the win. I have no issue with that at all. Ovilio will be back. He's young, first fight out of Mexico, and he gave a good account of himself. He gave a good performance. He came to fight, and he'll be back. The co-main event, pitted against Brandon Lee versus Campa from Mexico. Of course, we all know who we are all familiar with Brandon Lee. Campa, not so much. His only main fight that we all saw was against Teofimo Lopez on ESPN last year. Teofimo's first fight at 140, and it was a good competitive fight until Teofimo stopped him in 7 rounds in the seventh. But Campa showed what he was all about. He was strong, durable. He showed a good chin, and he showed that in the Brandon Lee fight. Brandon Lee both guys wasted no time in the first round. Both guys delivering power shots, looking for the knockout. Brandon Lee, once he saw Campa was right in front of him, he let his hands go with speed and power, and busting up Campa with power shots, combinations. And I gave Brandon the first 4 rounds, and after that it was a toss-up. It became a really close fight. All the rounds were close after the 4th round. And again, like the first fight, the scorecard was a bit too wide. I saw like a split decision as well, but again, I cannot disagree with the decision. Brandon Lee picking up the win, no problem with that. Like I said, the only issue that I have was the scorecards. It was a close fight, not unanimous. The scorecard was a bit too wide, so that was my only issue. And I said coming in that this was going to be the fight of the night, and it was. Both guys went in there, they delivered. Brandon Lee and Campa, man, they had a shootout in Carson, living up to the Punch Bowl, the War Zone grounds, one of boxing's best venues. That hosted some of the best fights in the sport. And Brandon Lee versus Campa, they both went in there and put out a fight fitting of the venue. And the main event, guys, between Sabestian Fondura, the Inferno, the tall Inferno versus Brian Mendoza. Mendoza coming off of that big win against Jason Rosario, former unified champion from the Dominican Republic. Stopped him on an uppercut and body shots combination. Very slick boxer. Excellent counter puncher. And he showed that against Sabestian Fondura. Fondura, the tall Inferno, You know, it was a typical Fondura fight in the beginning, in the early rounds, before the knockout happened. Fondura busting Mendoza up with uppercuts, the pressure. You know, for as tall as he is, 6'5", huge for a junior middleweight, 154. He doesn't really use his height. He likes to stay in the pocket and fight. He is effective, but if he uses his height, man, with a nice long jab, and he'll be a much bigger problem. But he doesn't. He stays in the pocket. He likes to firefight, and prior to this fight, man, many fights down the road, we were all saying, even a lot of fans were saying, even myself, like that's gonna be his biggest mistake, like staying in the pocket, because he leaves himself open at times, getting hit clean. And you know, we're saying that if he fights a guy that can punch, he's gonna be in big trouble. And it would have been just a matter of time. And last night was that time. Mendoza caught him with a counter left hook as he dropped his guard for an uppercut, and he caught him. He froze Sabestian Fondura. Fondura didn't went down, but when Mendoza caught him and saw that Fondura was not moving, he followed up with a left hook, right hand counter shot, right hand left hook, a left hook, right hand shot combo, and sent Fondura down, crashing timber. You know, the taller you are, the harder you fall. But the bigger you are, the harder you fall. And that was it. So said, so done. When he fell right on his back, head bounced it off the canvas. And when that happens to a fighter, it's very dangerous, meaning he was out cold. Now, Fondura, he lifted his head up. You know, he was conscious. He was aware of his surroundings. He knew where he was at. He acknowledged to the referee that he didn't want no more. Count it, wave it off, do what you got to do. I'm done. I'll be back for the next night of fight. I'm gonna live to fight another day, and that's what I saw, and I like that from Fondura. Fondura acknowledged, okay, I'm not. This sport is already dangerous. You know, he caught me with a solid shot. I'm really hurt, and if I get up, you know, it may not be too well. It might not go too well. So he stayed down. I'm pretty sure it was tough because it was his first fight. It was the first fight he's lost in 20 fights. You know, so for him to sit down there and say, you know what, I'll be back. You know, is class. You know, because he took the defeat like a man, like a professional. Even his corner man was telling him, hey, you got caught with a stupid shot. I was telling you. Even his trainer was like, I was telling you. When you pull back, you know, you were gonna get caught. You drop your guard and you got caught. It's boxing, okay? But no excuses. We lost. You know, it's boxing. We'll be back. And that was Fondura's attitude after the fight. We'll be back. Live to fight another day. Big win for Brian Mendoza. Huge win. That was an upset. That was unexpected. Savage KO victory for Brian Mendoza. And he's picked up the WBC Interim Championship. And he's a step closer to Jermell Charlo, who is the unified champion at 154 pounds. Of course, the main challenger is Tim Tszyu, but Brian Mendoza is now in line as well for that. So let's see what happens. Looking forward to the future of the winners of this card, and we'll see what happens next. Miracle Boy Boxing, guys. I am your host. Don't forget to like and subscribe to my channel. Always a pleasure to talk to you guys about boxing. One of the best sports in the world, in my opinion, the greatest sport in the world. The beautiful science, the sweet science, you call it, boxing. I am your host, Austin Cruz, and I'll see you guys next time in the next video. Peace.